Your cousin's boyfriend having a real estate license does not make them equipped to handle a multi-million-dollar real estate transaction. We should talk.
Welcome to the Community Voice. I'm Fara Sax. This fall, Miami-Dade College on the medical campus is making history by launching its first ever Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene program, creating new pathways for dental professionals to lead, educate, and transform oral health care. Now, that's something to smile about. Joining me is Dr. Becky Smith. She is the program coordinator and professor in the Bachelor of Dental Hygiene program. Easy for me to say this morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Smith.
Thanks for inviting me.
You have an illustrious career, and you also have a rich history in Miami-Dade County. So tell me a little bit about you, and our audience gets to know everything you do, not only professionally with the school, but as well as in your past experience.
Well, thanks. So as you said, I'm a native Miamian. I was actually born on Homestead Air Force Base. My father was retired Navy. My mom was Cuban. She came over in the 1963, more or less, when everybody was leaving Cuba because of Castro. Met my dad actually at Lindsay Hopkins Technical School, not where it's located now, but when it was downtown. And they met and they went out, and like a little over a year later, they got married. And over a year after that, I was born. I'm the oldest of three girls, but I grew up here in West Dade, or La Sahuesera, as Cubans like to call it, the Southwest area.
I love that. Say that again?
La Sahuesera.
I'm not even going to try to say that.
I grew up like hearing that's how they pronounced it, to call it the Southwest area. So Southwest Miami-Dade. I grew up here, went to college here, Miami-Dade, FIU, University of Florida, for my doctoral degree. And I became a hygienist because I had always wanted to be a dentist when I was little, but somehow hygiene called to me. And so I became a hygienist. I went to Miami-Dade College, same place where I'm teaching now, and graduated in 1991. So I've been a hygienist for 35 years. And now we're starting this bachelor's program. And I've been teaching at Miami-Dade for 21 years in the Associate of Science in Dental Hygiene program. And now we're doing this bachelor's degree.
And the most fun fact about you is highlight.
Yes.
You've got to tell our audience about your history.
Actually, my parents, their first date was at Miami Highlight.
Really?
Yes. I grew up hearing about it. And when I was little, my mother worked at Miami Highlight as a telebet girl. So they would go into the audience and get the bets from the patrons and stuff, and then walk the bet back and then bring it back to the patrons. And so when they would have late night partidos, which were games that didn't have any betting on them, my dad would take me and my sister with him to Highlight so he could watch the games, and then we could watch them too. So when I was about 14 years old, I decided I wanted to try to play Highlight myself. The amateur court is in North Miami. There was a Highlight school there that was sponsored by World Highlight, which owned Miami Highlight at the time. And I was told that I couldn't because I was a girl, and it was not a girl sport. It was a boy sport. So I didn't have much recourse. I was only 14 at the time back then. But then I tried again when I was 19. Now I could drive. Now I could take myself there. I tried again when I was 19. Me and both of my sisters were trying to play, and they told us no. And so my mom helped me looking into all the paperwork that needed to be filed for discrimination. And before anything actually happened, I was told, yeah, you can go ahead and play. So we were allowed to play in the Highlight school in the amateur court. And so I played amateur for several years, tried to go pro, but couldn't do it. It was still too much still like a male sport. And I started late. I was 19. I started very late to play. Years later, a friend of mine told me that Calder was closing down their horse track and that they were building a Highlight fronton because there was some kind of stipulation in the law that there had to be a pari-mutuel in order for certain betting to take place in the casinos. So the horse track was way too costly to run, and that it was more economical to build a brand new building with a Highlight court inside of it to play. And they were building female locker rooms. So he said, you tried all those years ago. why don't you try again? And so after not playing for 30 years, I went to the amateur court, played for a couple of months, tried out, and they selected me. So I was the only female on the entire roster. And in May 2019, I became the first professional female highlight player in the world.
Wow. What a story. Our producer is like even going, wow, that is amazing. I remember going to the Fronton, and it was like such an outing. It was so much fun.
It was. The 1980s, 70s, 60s were like the heyday of highlight. You had to be dressed up to go, standing room only. You know, it was an event to be at, to be and be seen.
What was that like, you know, having all this rejection and you can't do it and you can't do it and you can't do it. And then walking on and you could do it and you did do it. What was that like, that moment for you?
It was amazing. One of my favorite places to go to is Disney World. And Walt Disney has a lot of quotes. And one of my favorite quotes is from him: if you can dream it, you can do it. And so I took a lot of my inspiration from that if I have this dream, I should be able to do it. I also take inspiration from Jeff Foxworthy, where he says, hold my beer. You know, tell me I can't do something, I'm going to show you that I can. Mm-hmm. And so I did. And I was 54 years old at the time, so old for a highlight player, much less being a female highlight player. But I was able to go out there and, you know, hold my own.
And I held your own beer.
I held my own beer and held my own. And I think I won my first game like a week after we started playing, because I only played on the weekends. I didn't play like every single day.
Good for you. And then fast forward, dental hygiene, mm-hmm. highlight. Bring me up to speed how that intersection happened for you.
Well, I was actually working at Dania Highlight when one of my coworkers got a job as a dental assistant, on-the-job trained dental assistant. And she mentioned to me that she was interested in maybe applying to hygiene school. And I thought, I never really thought about that. I thought about dentistry, but not dental hygiene. And so I looked into it, found out Miami-Dade College had a program, took the rest of the prerequisite courses that I was missing because I had been going to school at FIU, and applied for the program, and I got in. And it was, at the time, and still is, for the Associate of Science degree, it's pretty much like a 3-year program. You have about a year of prerequisites if you go full-time, and then 2 years in the actual program to get the Associate of Science degree. At that time, it was a 98 credit program, so 22 credits shy of a bachelor's. The state of Florida reworked some of the credits a few years later. By the time I got to teaching there, it was an 88 credit program, which is still significant for an associate degree program. It's actually more credits than the nursing degree.
Wow.
So, and then we started trying to get the bachelor's program, which is a degree completion program. It's not a program that you apply to as a freshman. You already have to be a licensed Florida license, not even Florida license, just a licensed dental hygienist somewhere in the United States, and have the Associate of Science degree from a U.S. accredited dental hygiene program. And you can apply and get the bachelor's degree to complete your associate's degree.
And so talk about the launch. Let's talk about the program. And how long does it typically take to get the Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene?
It's going to be a 4-semester program. So we'll take our first class, our first cohort this fall. So it'll be fall, spring, summer, fall. So if you start now in fall of 2026, you'll be done by December of 2027.
And the program is described as a blended program. Let's talk about exactly what that means and what does that benefit, and how does that benefit someone that might be working and trying to balance their home and their work and their careers and schooling?
Of course. So a blended program means that the majority of the program is delivered online. So that's perfect for the person who is a licensed hygienist, is working clinical hygiene, and they work until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. A lot of times, maybe even later, depending on the practice that you're working in, or even if you're working weekends, giving you the freedom to be able to go online. The LMS, the learning management system that we use is Canvas. Go into Canvas and see what the assignment is for that week, see what the readings are for that week, do the discussion boards if you need to for that week, and complete all of the work at your own pace, because it's asynchronous, meaning it's not delivered at a specific time. You can go on whenever you want.
So this is basically an online?
Mostly
Totally?
online,
Mhm.
mostly online. Blended means that there are some face-to-face, but it's not that the classes are blended. The program is blended. So it's required that 30% of the courses of the classwork, not the classwork, the class meets, let's say, there has to be a face-to-face attendance. We're thinking that that's probably going to be more towards the end, when students have to do a capstone course to select like where they think that they would want to specialize or maybe focus more on, and then meet with their advisors to be able to have that class be completed.
Are you anticipating that this is going to be a second career for people, or is it going to be people that are just basically coming out of the AS program?
It'll be for both. People coming out of our AS program. We already have several of our graduates that just graduated now in May. They've already applied and been accepted into the program to start for the fall. But it's also good for people who completed their Associate of Science degree years ago and maybe clinical hygiene isn't for them anymore. Clinical hygiene is very hard on your body. The ergonomics that you need to use, the sitting all day, repetitive motion with your hands, it can lead to things like carpal tunnel syndrome, for example. So this is an option for people who are looking to be something other than a clinician. This is for somebody who wants to become an entrepreneur, maybe open their own business, somebody who wants to move into the corporate space. A lot of corporate jobs require at least having a bachelor's degree in order to be able to work for them, for a lot of these big companies. You need to at least have a bachelor's degree to move into education, to become a dental hygiene educator if you want to. And there's a lot of other different roles that a hygienist can go into that the bachelor's degree will open up for them.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some other options that are available to those that may be looking for a second career, or again, you're talking about the body and it's just, as we get a little older or in the same position, it can hurt after a while.
Yeah. I know a lot of people that have gone into the corporate world. They've become education managers. They've become salespersons for different dental supply companies and other companies that are related to dentistry. You could also move into education. You could become like me, a dental hygiene educator, a public health advocate. A lot of times in public health, in the dental world, you need that bachelor's degree in order to be able to do more in the public health space as well. Research. We need a lot of research in dental hygiene. There's different products. There's different thought processes of different research that is out there for that dental hygienists could move into that prior they wouldn't have been able to move into because they didn't have that baccalaureate degree. And with the baccalaureate degree, you're going to be able to move into a higher level degree too, into a master's degree and possibly even into a doctoral degree. So there are different things out there for people with the bachelor's.
And then let's talk about some of the admission requirements and who is the ideal candidate for this?
The ideal candidate is somebody who has already graduated from a U.S. accredited CODA, the Commission on Dental Accreditation through the American Dental Association, is currently the accrediting body for dental hygiene programs in the United States. So a graduate of a U.S. accredited dental hygiene program and already licensed as a dental hygienist. It doesn't have to be just in Florida. You could be licensed in any other state as well. That's the ideal candidate.
And another question is always affordability. Will I be able to afford this? And let's talk about a little bit the cost per credit and financial aid opportunities that might be offered for a candidate.
There are financial aid opportunities. For that, you would need to contact the financial aid office at our campus or probably any campus for Miami-Dade College. For the cost, I believe the tuition right now is like $100 and something and change per credit. If you're a resident. If you're a non-resident, it's a little more expensive. It's like $400 and something and change per credit. The website says that the program total cost is about $15,000, but I believe that that includes all of the coursework from the AS degree that transfers into the BS degree. So I don't think it's really that much. I don't think it's really $15,000 total for the program. It's probably going to be significantly less. The other part to this too is that in addition to some of the dental hygiene courses that are specific to dental hygiene for the bachelor's, if you only have the Associate of Science degree in dental hygiene, you would still need to take the other general education courses that are required by the state of Florida to have that well-rounded education. In other words, the AA degree. So you would have to take, in addition to the dental hygiene specific courses, you would also have to be taking these general education courses like the second English class, the second math class, sociology, humanities, etc. If you already have the AA, if you have the AS and you have the AA, then you don't need to take those classes. You're good. You're done with that. You would only have to take the dental hygiene specific courses.
Rachel, can we just roll a little bit of just some of the information that folks may need to get started, our website, and who they need to contact? There it is. Thank you so much, Rachel. When can a prospective student apply and begin the program?
They can apply now if they want to. Applications are due July 31st,
Soon.
I think. I think it's July 31st.
Soon.
Yeah, soon.
But you check on,
there's
you can
still
check
a little bit of time.
You can check on the website for all those
you
details.
Can check on the website. But the application is there. When you go to that website, that's the mdc.edu/dental hygiene BS / it has a whole, that's the whole, there's several different areas that you can go, but there's a program overview, program costs, program requirements, and the application link is right there as well.
What would you tell someone right now who are thinking about enrolling this year?
Do it. Don't wait. Somebody, I don't know who the quote is attributed to, but somebody said, you know, there's a lot of things that can be taken away from you. My license can be taken away from me. My house can be taken away from me, but nobody can take my education. Mm-hmm. So the more education you have, the more powerful you are.
How many slots do you have available?
As many as we want.
Oh, good.
We will take everybody who applies right now.
So beyond the practical practice, what doors do these degrees open? I think we talked about that, such as education, leadership, public health, research, management. Mm-hmm. So these are other ways for folks to increase their value to a company or even for themselves to launch a new business.
Yes. I have a former student who started her own business. She helps dental offices across the country refile claims that were rejected because the narratives on the claims were written incorrectly or they used the wrong billing codes. And that's what she has developed her company to be.
That happens?
Yeah.
Really? That happens? Gosh knows.
Yeah.
Only in dentistry?
Yeah. I have another friend in Montana who started a nonprofit organization. It's called Smiles Across Montana. And she goes around to the whole entire state and she provides dental hygiene services to underserved areas to be able to do that, like in Montana. And that's something that we could definitely use here in Florida because there are a lot of underserved areas where people are not receiving the access to dental care that they should. So having this extra knowledge, having the beyond the clinical education, the leadership, the oral health, global oral health, social determinants, all these different courses that they can take to learn more about dentistry and the big broader scope of oral health in general, just for the whole entire world, pretty much, not just limited to Florida, gives you more knowledge so you're able to provide the access and the care that people need and information.
And your background is in the Native Americans as well.
Yes.
And so it's really interesting. You've worked in so many different areas with different people. Talk a little bit about that and how that really influenced you moving forward. There's a big smile on your face, so I guess that I've touched on something.
Yeah. So it's funny because students now, they'll take all their licensing exams that are pretty much on computer and they'll find out within a matter of weeks that they got licensed. Well, when I went to hygiene school,
in my day,
they only offered the national exam twice a year. and it was written on a Scantron. It was a paper exam. So we took the exam in late March, didn't get results until May. Then I had to travel with my patient to the University of Florida Dental School, which is where the clinical licensing exam was offered. And so I had to pay for my patient's hotel room, for their food, like sometimes even have to pay the patient to get there.
Must be someone telling me I have a dental appointment. I am so sorry.
That's fine. And I didn't find out I got licensed until August. So I graduated in May and didn't pass my exams and get my license until August. Well, I needed to find a job. So this was in the early 90s. So Miami Herald, right? Opening up the Herald to the want ads. And there was one job that I applied for, and it was to the Miccosukee tribe of Indians of Florida. So I applied to it, called in for interview. Within a month, I had been given the job, and I started at the tribe. And I was there for almost 10 years. So that was public health. And it was a very different world, being that I was a recent graduate, but I was not just the public health dental hygienist, I was also the program manager, because there was no dentist on site. The dentist came once a month and did exams. So I ran the program. I had to provide the education to their Head Start program, to the Miccosukee Indian School. There was a fluoride rinse program. They had no fluoride in their drinking water there. Some, oral health problems, but I loved it. It was a great job. I learned so much on that job. And after about 10 years, I wanted to go back for my master's degree in public health. And I wasn't able to swing working out there because it's 20 miles west of Chrome Avenue, and going all the way to University of Miami, actually pretty much next to the campus where I'm working now, is where the classes were for the Masters of Public Health. So I left the tribe and I started working in private practice. So I worked in 2 offices in private practice. One was a periodontal practice and one was a general dentistry practice. So I did that for 4.5 years or so. And then the job opened up at Miami-Dade College in the dental hygiene program as a faculty member. And I applied for the job and I started there in 2005. So I went from being a student, working in public health, working in private practice, and being a clinical hygienist, to being a dental hygiene educator.
Amazing. I feel like I've gotten to know you, Dr. Smith. And so students also want to know, who is going to be my professor? Who's going to be teaching me? Tell me about their wealth of experience. And I feel like we've gotten there, you and I, for an audience to know you and your background. Talk about some of the other faculty and the professors and some of their backgrounds, so that students can know who they're going to be learning from.
Well, Miami-Dade College dental hygiene program actually has a distinction. I think we're probably the only program, associate of science program in the country, that all of the full-time faculty have doctoral degrees. All of us do. 3 just got their degrees last year. So all of us, 6 to 7 of us, well, there's 7 of us, and we all have doctoral degrees. So we're very diverse. We all get along great. We've been working together for the newest faculty member has been there for about 6 years now. So, not seasons like some of us. I'm probably one of the longest ones that I've been there. But, we're all doctoral educated, all doctoral degrees, being able to teach in this program.
Wow. Wonderful. So everybody's in good hands if they want to make a change or start a career. Yeah. Beautiful. For someone that's considering this program, what is some of the realistic, I think we touched on it, the expectation of the coursework, the assignments, and the study time needed to be successful?
You would be able to be successful if you are committed to doing the work that's needed. This is going to be very different than the Associate of Science degree. There aren't going to be quizzes. There aren't going to be midterm exams. There's not going to be final exams. It's going to be a lot of discussion board, because it's online, asynchronous. Lots of discussion board, lots of reading of current research that is out there, current articles that are out there, lots of guest speakers that have different positions across the dental hygiene community. So to be able to listen and to learn from other people as well. Working full-time and going to school full-time, it's going to be difficult. But if you already have the AA degree, then it's going to be less classes than you would need if you did not have the AA degree. And being asynchronous, being able to do the coursework on your own time, when you have the free time available on your days off or whatever, it's doable. And our classes are very, very fast. Each class is 8 weeks. So a lot to be done, completed in 8 weeks. And each class is 3 credits. So that means about 2.5 hours per week for a 16-week semester. So that's going to be about 5 hours a week that you need to devote at least to just the coursework.
And what I find very different than when most people that are over the age of 40 is that there's placement, there's opportunity to network. In the olden days, as we have referred, there was none of that networking and meeting, hands-on experience. The internship, yes, but let's talk about how Miami-Dade College helps the students in the dental hygiene.
I'm not completely sure I understand your question.
Oh, no, that's very honest. But is there placement afterwards? Is there networking that happens during?
Like for job placement?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that there's any like formal system in place because even with clinical hygiene, there really is no formal system in place. Most of the time, people just, find jobs through word of mouth. But definitely, like, especially if we have like guest speakers and stuff, and you're being introduced to the different jobs, opportunities that are out there. And if anything catches your eye, catches your interest, then you can go ahead and, apply to those jobs. But definitely, I mean, part of this is learning how to use like social media for those social media sites that especially help with employment and how to build up your resume, to be able to be attractive to those potential employers.
So now I want you to be like a magician or a fortune teller. Looking ahead, let's say, let's look ahead 10 years. How has being a dental hygienist evolved, and how will it evolve in the next decade? And how is Miami-Dade College preparing graduates to lead this charge?
Sure. So the dental hygiene profession itself has been around since 1913. So the profession is over 100 years old. Things are changing rapidly in the dental hygiene world. There's a lot of states that are trying to get the oral preventive assistant out there, which is taking a dental assistant to a couple of weekends of on-the-job training of just some education to do a lot of things that the dental hygienist already does. So we want to make sure that people have the bachelor's degree at least to be able to make themselves more available and to make themselves more attractive to potential employers. The American Dental Hygienists Association actually passed a policy earlier this year. The board of directors passed a policy earlier this year to make the doctoral degree the entry-level degree for dental hygiene, to bring us to the table, to be able to have a better seat at the table, to have a say-so in our profession. So having the baccalaureate is a stepping stone to be able to get that higher education and to be able to move further and into possibly owning your own practice, dental hygiene practice.
And it starts here at Miami-Dade College.
Yeah, they can in Colorado. So maybe it'll start here in Miami-Dade College by getting that baccalaureate degree, being able to get that education and to be able to do more.
So we have 2 seconds left. Just a couple of things. How does one keep one's mouth as clean as possible? This is not about the college. This is just a pure question for an audience to know what to look for, what are problems that might occur, and how you can just give some advice at the end of this interview.
Brushing obviously is like the go-to. But
how many times a day?
Well, ideally 3 times a day.
After each meal?
After each meal, when you wake up in the morning, before you eat breakfast, after you eat breakfast, and then of course at nighttime before you go to bed. Those are the very minimum. But also cleaning between your teeth. Less than 10% of the U.S. population actually cleans between their teeth.
We're talking about flossing and...
Well, flossing is a big thing, but I would say more an interdental brush, a proxa brush to clean between your teeth. That's sized to fit between your teeth because it's going to fill in the spaces that the floss can't. Most cavities and periodontal disease begin in between the teeth.
So is this like an electric thing that goes?
No, it's just a tiny little brush that fits between the space between
what about
your teeth.
What do you think about those little
electric brushes?
Yeah,
electric brushes are great if you're using them correctly.
Okay, because otherwise you can get receding gums and stuff like that.
Not with an electric brush.
Okay.
They're all soft. So
Okay.
it's the hard toothbrushes and the medium toothbrushes that are going to give you like receding gums if you're brushing too hard.
All right. And
So
anything
everybody
else?
should use a soft toothbrush.
A soft toothbrush. Okay. And
Yes.
then I heard you use the hand that you don't usually write with, and you brush that way. Is that true, or is that like a myth?
I think it's more like when you're like if you're right-handed, you start brushing on
Left hand?
the left side.
Yeah.
I think people say. I don't know.
okay.
I'm left-handed, so.
So am I. Oh my God, who knew? We're so alike. Oh my God, are you my twin sister? Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so people spend a lot of time brushing the area where they start,
Uh-huh.
and then when they get to the side where they finish, they don't spend as much. So we say to like alternate. Pick Monday, Wednesday, Friday to start on the right side, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday to start on the left side, and Sunday's player's choice.
Okay, got it. And then the mouth. Is there anything that we should be aware of, like going on in our mouth, that might cause an alarm, that you should really call your dentist and figure it out?
If you have a really bad smell or taste in your mouth, yeah, go see your hygienist.
Okay. All right. But I want to thank you, Dr. Smith, because this was so informative. And Miami-Dade College prepares to welcome its first class this fall. The future of dental hygiene, education, and leadership is just beginning. And I want to thank you so much. So give a call. You have all that information coming up on the scroll underneath, I think. Yeah, there it is. Thanks, Rachel.
Perfect.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great day. I'm Fara Sax.